I'm John DeSando.
I'm Hope Madden.
And this is It's Movie Time. Hope, The Monuments Men.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this question. I would have thought this would open in December. Big name, big concept. Now it's opening in February. Hope, could there be any reason for that?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. But you know what? I think it's probably a wise decision because I think it's going to do pretty well in February. There's not a lot else out there, whereas it couldn't have stood up to the competition of December.
Why not?
You know what? It's a nice movie. It's nice. That's about, it's entertaining. It's not hard hitting. It's just sort of a laid back romp kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you feel that way?
Well, here's our man, George Clooney, who's one of the only stars in Hollywood who could put forth a big motion picture with big stars and have it be kind of delayed for reasons that I think have to do with the fact that it is a really nice story. But think of some of the films that have been nominated for the Oscar. They would have clobbered this thing.
That absolutely would have, yeah.
And why is so fascinating to me? Because it fits the paradigm that we kind of live by. Anything between now and May is going to be somewhat painful, except for Silence of the Lambs and Braveheart.
It's a pretty rare exception.
It is indeed.
And I think usually when it is an exception, it's because the studio didn't think it was going. If they didn't think they had a movie that was as good as what they had.
That's right. They missed it.
Yeah.
Now look at this story is about saving the European art in the Second World War.
Right.
So these boys, somewhat like the Magnificent Seven and the Dirty Dozen.
And Ocean's 11.
And Ocean's 11, thank you. A small band put together by the aging George Clooney, art historian from the Fogg Museum. And they go across to try to find the arts that have been looted by the Nazis and or saving them from the encroaching Russians.
Right. You know what I think? He did a lot of, it's such a very low-key film, a really surprisingly low-key film. And one of the things I liked that he did was, often enough, I think that his approach to, we're going to save this art, he was humble about it. Because in the face of everything else that was going on in World War II, if you're an art historian, if you're an art lover, you have to think to yourself, like, no, you've got to save, David. We have to save these things. But when you're faced with all of the devastation and death that happened in World War II, it really is, you've got to remain a bit humble. And I think they did a nice job because then periodically they would, they also found in the big stash, they found those giant barrels of gold teeth. It's like they kept grounding it in the larger chaos and horror of the war, I think, which was appropriate.
Another nice moment when he's facing down that German officer when they're sitting across the table with each other.
Right.
And he talks about sometime when he's going to read a little snippet in the paper about this guy being hanged.
Yep.
And he's going to go ahead and eat his Jewish deli.
Exactly.
Excellent moment.
It was very well delivered.
And yet at the same time, there are far too many moments in the film where, even in voiceover, Clooney intones about the importance of their journey, the importance of saving the art, as if we didn't get the idea.
Right. Yeah. I do think I think that you're right. I don't think a lot of us need much convincing that you can't just let the Mona Lisa be burned to the ground because Hitler couldn't keep it and he was going to throw a tantrum over it. I think we all understand that these are relics that have to be kept.
And the nice tension is that officer, when they first come across, tells them there's no way that he's going to give one soldier's life for a work of art.
You know what I thought was funny? There are so many times in this movie it reminded me of other movies. That reminded me of Saving Private Ryan, which of course Matt Damon starred in. And then so many Bill Murray moments reminded me of Strikes. That had to have been done intentionally. And maybe it's just me, but the fact that John Goodman's character was Walter also made me think of The Big Lebowski.
Excellent.
I don't think he shied away from it. I think it was like, I've got Bill Murray in a military movie. Obviously, we're going to have to, give a nod.
And for me, Murray is wasted in a sense. He's really good. And he and Balaban have a little duo going there.
I agree.
That really has some possibilities.
Yeah.
And the other side, I've heard, too, that they've changed considerably the role, Cate Blanchett's role. She plays Claire, I think her name is here, and in real life her name was Rose, and was quite a bit different. So they create a bit of a romance with Matt Damon's character, and so there are a lot of people who felt that they really did a disservice to the to the history. You know, it's not other people's business. What George Clooney decides to do in this movie is fine with me.
Oh,
It's
I
like
agree with
everything,
you.
You know,
Yeah,
he-
when Hollywood makes its version of your life, it's not going to really look like your life.
No,
but
it
you know
isn't.
what? You get Kate Blanchett to play you, so it could be worse.
And this is Monuments Men. Good Lord, thanks, Kate, for being there.
Right,
Because
right.
These guys aren't the Magnificent Seven, or they're not given that chance. You know, we have our token Frenchmen,
Right,
and,
right.
and Brits, and so, you know, we've got all that token stuff. But what I really felt was that we didn't have enough of a chance at that. And back to your other point, which I think it is true about downplaying this. On the other hand, the notion of millions of people being murdered at this time, I was trying to figure out how you juxtapose that with the art. And I know that they tried, and Clooney went overboard trying to do that. But in the end, when I look at it, I say, I don't know if I would even dare to tell this story, given the gruesome side of everything that was going on.
No, I agree with you. You know, there's a documentary. Do you know the Rape of Europa?
Yes.
Which is it's about the same topic, not about the Monuments Men, but about the Nazis' quest to take over all of the art. And I thought it was a fascinating, because at that time I was completely unaware of this.
Yeah.
When I saw the Rape of Europa, on the other hand, because it was made by art historians, they really, really they're in for it. This was the most important thing happening in World War II, and you're thinking, no, it really wasn't.
For instance, I thought the scene with the little sniper.
Right. Where were we going with that? Was that meant to establish character?
Yeah.
I mean, it was an interesting scene, but it didn't go anywhere.
And what was it all for? That one line. Let's not talk about this.
Right.
You know, okay.
Yeah. No, I was, and then the earlier one with the German soldier and Bob Balaban and Bill Murray was equally sort of, why is this here? But it worked better. But I think there were a lot of little scenes that were meant to establish character that just didn't ever amount to anything.
Are you talking about that prolonged one where the young German has?
Yes, and they sit down and they say,
Good
John Wayne.
Lord, waiting again for the one line.
Right.
And they must have extended that several minutes, which is an eternity in film time.
No, agreed. I think the other really big problem with the film, and it's one that I think that is a weakness of Clooney's as a director, he's very nostalgic.
Yes.
And he's very, remember a time when the good guys were easy to pick out. And you know, it worked out in Good Night and Good Luck, which is a brilliant film, but it doesn't work as well, hasn't worked as well in his other efforts, I don't think.
Leathernecks.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. Hope it's that time, and we love George.
We do.
But we have to apply a grade to his film. The film is The Monuments Men, Hope Madden. Please tell me what grade you will offer.
C+.
Oh, darn you, because C+ is also my grade. We try not to have this happen, but goodness. Anyway, don't let us keep you from going to see an interesting movie. It's just not a great movie.
Exactly.